We won't lose face to Mr. Wu and Boss Lu. Wu Chen had only taken a few steps when there was a change. Wu Chen glanced back and muttered, "It's too difficult to target the princess." Change of target. That was fast. Let's see what tricks you're up to. An hour later, Wu Chen was sleepy from waiting. Not going to attack directly. I'm tired. I'll take a shower. Wu Chen entered the bathroom and turned on the water, only to discover something was wrong. The water from the faucet was scalding hot. Fortunately, Wu Chen reacted quickly. Wu Chen smiled knowingly, waited a whole hour just for this. All right, it started. Let me cooperate with you a little more. Wu Chen pretended to be panicked to deceive her. Damn it, what was that? Scared me to death. Reception, come up here. There's a problem with the showerhead. The water is too hot to shower. At this moment, the girl jumped down from ceiling and kicked Wu Chen. She pointed a gun at his head and said confidently, "An information broker, and you managed to avoid the first round. You're good, but this is the limit." Wu Chen looked at her and said, "No, not necessarily." The girl was surprised. "What? You drank that coffee?" Wu Chen used his strong hand to chop at her hand while she continued to ask, "How are you not poisoned?" Wu Chen smiled confidently. "Sorry, information broker is just one of my identities. You don't know anything about me, but I know everything about you." Wu Chen leaned close to Nancy, making her blush. "Everything the Queen told you is a lie." "Nancy, you've been tricked." Nancy tried to cover up. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Wu Xian's mischievous hands started to wander. "Isn't it said that impure thoughts between men and women will create viruses? My head is full of impure thoughts right now. I can't even control my hands. Look, I'm so filthy," Nancy screamed in fear. "No, don't touch me. I'll die from the poison." 2 minutes later, Nancy was panting and couldn't speak clearly. "No, I don't want." Wu Chen smiled triumphantly. "So, you're not dying, but feeling good instead. That's why I said you were deceived by the Queen. Of course, you believed the Queen's words because of your unhappy childhood. Your parents were miners, their work was hard, so they couldn't take care of you and had to leave you at your grandfather's house. But your grandfather was a scumbag. He took the living expenses your parents sent and went out to squander it, not caring about you at all. One day, your grandfather spent all the money without earning more, so he thought of taking advantage of you. So you were abused by your grandfather, but he was a lecherous old man with many venereal diseases. Unfortunately, you contracted gonorrhea. Soon, your body became ulcerated and festered. What's worse, he blamed you, saying that you were disobedient at such a young age, hanging out with gangsters and getting sick. You wandered the streets for half a year, dirty, smelly, and sick, almost dying, when you met the Queen. For the rest, do you want me to continue? You can't say. Then let me tell you, the Queen didn't abandon you at all. On the contrary, she took you to the hospital to be cured by a doctor. From then on, you became the Queen's close maid. Under the Queen's arrangement, you learned many skills and grew up. The Queen took you in for 2 purposes. The first purpose is not convenient to talk about now. The second purpose is to raise you as a confidant to assassinate the princess. The Queen understands very well that a woman's greatest weakness is love. To prevent you from meeting a man and falling in love, and no longer listening to her, she used your childhood experience to fabricate a story that impure contact between men and women would cause illness. Until now, you still believe the Queen. How could the Queen lie to me? Wu Chen explained to her just now. Your body had a feeling, right? That's the instinctive reaction of an adult. But the Queen called it impure, so now, do you want to try and see if contact with a man really causes a virus like the Queen said? Wu Chen pulled Nancy's hand down towards him. Didn't you say the Queen wouldn't lie to you? Then try it. Who is lying to you, the Queen or me? Nancy, although feeling something, was still worried. Then, move away a little. The Queen's kindness to me is as heavy as a mountain. Even if I have to risk my life, I will prove whether she lied or not. How did the Queen say it? Just touching will create a virus. Now you've touched it. Is there a virus? If you don't believe it, you can touch it for a little longer. 10 seconds later, Nancy felt a strange sensation she had never experienced before. Wu Chen said, "No need to be surprised. This is just a normal physiological reaction. After experimenting for so long, is your hand infected with a virus? Nancy looked at her hand carefully and replied, "It's still flexible and natural. There are no signs of a viral infection." The Queen really lied to me. Good that you understand. I hope you won't interfere in the matters between the Queen and the Princess anymore. As Wu Chen was about to leave, Nancy said, "Tomorrow, the Princess will leave Qatar for Belgium to inspect the pharmaceutical company the royal family invested in. Don't let the Princess go. I've already explained things to the country and the Princess. But betraying the Queen, I feel guilty for her life-saving grace and upbringing." Nancy took out a gun and killed herself. Wu Chen was extremely surprised. He didn't expect her to be so grateful to the Queen. "This isn't betrayal, you silly girl. You don't even know the Queen's first purpose for taking you in. You're so foolish." Wu Chen's eyes were filled with indignation. "I don't want to interfere in the Princess's affairs, but I have to. The Queen and that doctor, you two have successfully angered me." Not long after, Wu Chen went to find the Princess, surprising her. "Mr. Wu, why are you here?" "Your Highness, are you going to Belgium to inspect the pharmaceutical company? Do you feel that something is wrong?" The Princess was surprised. "Even this you know." Wu Chen continued, "If I say there's really a problem with the pharmaceutical company, you might not find anything when you go there, but you will definitely be in danger. You can choose not to go, Mr. Wu. Didn't you say that the heir to the country needs an iron will, extraordinary courage, and decisive action? I'm afraid of a little danger. My father and you would laugh at me, right? It's rare for your Highness to be so determined. I'll go with you. Remember, you must stay by my side." "Having Mr. Wu as my bodyguard, all right, I understand." At Belgium, outskirts of city, OSMA Pharmaceutical Company. The CEO of OSMA Pharmaceutical asked, "Your Highness, are you here to inspect the books? I want to see the research and clinical trials of the pharmaceuticals." "Your Highness can see whatever you want. Let's go to the research center first." At the entrance to the research center, the CEO asked, "Your Highness, you need to change your clothes to enter." Wu Chen immediately said, "I'll help you change, Your Highness." Wu Chen followed the Princess into the changing room to carefully inspect the clothes. "No dust, no problem." The Princess blushed. Wu Chen was too close, making her feel embarrassed. "Mr. Wu, you're standing too close. I can feel your breath." After changing, the CEO led her and Wu Chen to tour the company. "Your Highness, feel free to look around, but don't touch anything. If you have any questions, just ask me. Your Highness, do you understand?" "I only have one question. Is this the only research center?" "Of course, Your Highness. Building a research center requires a lot of money. Without Your Highness's approval, how could ordinary people build it? If Your Highness has no other questions, let's go back to the office to continue our discussion." "All right, let's go back to the office first." Wu Chen suggested again, "Your Highness, it's better if I help you change your clothes." The Princess said, "Mr. Wu, it was fine putting them on, so taking them off should be fine too." Before she finished speaking, Wu Chen started to undress her. Her cheeks were as red as tomatoes. We have a saying, "No need to be shy when it's necessary." "Mr. Wu, I want to use the restroom." Hearing this, Wu Chen immediately stepped forward. "I'll take you." However, she stopped him. "Mr. Wu, please wait outside. If there's any problem, I'll call you." 7 minutes later, Wu Chen was still waiting. "It's been too long. Why hasn't Her Highness come out yet?" Then, he knocked on the door. "Your Highness, are you okay? If you are, please answer." See no response. Wu Chen kicked the door open and rushed in. "Your Highness, my head hurts. This place is full of colorless and odorless poison gas. It's ruined. Your Highness has been inhaling the poison gas for so long, her body has been irreparably damaged." The Princess going to the restroom was a random event that couldn't be predicted. Compared to the entire company being rigged with traps, you were able to know the Princess's real-time movements and control the traps immediately. "The most likely person is him, the doctor," Wu Chen said angrily. System reset. The wheel of time turned back to this moment. Wu Chen had arranged a body double for the Princess. "Your Highness, the evidence is clear now. If it weren't for Mr. Wu arranging a body double, I would have been poisoned to death. I'll arrest the doctor immediately." Caught off guard, the CEO, who was also the doctor, shouted, "What are you doing? No one except the princess, and the queen has the right to arrest me." Wu Chen smiled. "It's not impossible. It's up to you, doctor. Do you want to talk about your past with the current Queen of Monaco here, or go back and talk to the king and queen?" Hearing this, he broke out in a cold sweat. "You